Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Meirinda. I'm from F class, and in this video, me and my friend will represent group 3 to discuss the material about comparing and contrasting. And for the first presentation will be explained by me. Okay, let me begin with the definition about comparing and contrasting. However, when discussing a reading section, comparing and contrasting take on more specific meaning. To compare means to identify the similarity and differences between two things, and to contrast means to identify only the differences between two things. This might seem like a small distinction, but it can be very important depending on the text you are assigned. For instance, if the prompt call only contrasting idea, then you should only look for differences and ignore similarity. While the distinction between these two terms may appear on the surface to be quite subtle, it is important that students can accurately differentiate between two concepts to ensure they are able to answer questions and prompts accurately. And now, why is compare and contrast important in reading? Comparing and contrasting is necessary for interaction with the environment. Finding differences or similarity helps students organize both new and known information. Students will be able to note differences and similarity between or among object, idea, entities, concept, event, or other subject. And the compare and contrast aid as a practical and easy to use introduction to higher order thinking. The compare and contrast strategy strengthens student writing skill by providing a simple structure that helps them organize information and develop their idea with greater clarity and precision. And for the next presentation will be explained by my friends.
Okay, next, I will explain about the purpose of comparison and contrast. Comparison is discuss elements that are similar, and the contrast is discuss elements that are different. The purpose of conducting comparison and contrast is not to state the obvious, but rather to illuminate subtle differences or unexpected similarities. The key to a good compare and contrast is to choose two or more subjects that connect in meaningful way. Next is drawing distinction between elements in a similar category will increase the audience understanding of that category, which is the purpose of the compare and contrast.
My name is Tian Yona. I will explain about compare and contrast. There are 8 steps to make a good compare and contrast easy. Step 1. Choose your subjects. Remember that your two subjects must different but still same in the ballpark to create a meaningful compare and contrast essay. And in step 2, brainstorm similarities and differences. You can make a two list, one of similarities and another's differences, and then you can make a Venn diagram. It's simply you create two overlapping circles and one for each the topic that you are comparing, and then try to differ or not separately within those that they are shared within in the overlapping space. It's helpful visual aid. Why? Because it's organized similarities and differences clearly. And in step 3, hone in on your main arguments. A good compare and contrast essay goes beyond in simple listing of similarities and differences to make a meaningful statement about a larger topic. Now look at that your list you've made. Then, what strikes you as significant? What do the similarities and differences say about your topic? That will be your main arguments. And in the step 4, decide on your organizational structure. You can write about one paragraph, one subject in the detail, and then you switch it to the other. Now let's say you are comparing and contrast about women and men. You could write 2 paragraphs about qualities that common on women, that along with some that they share with men, and then you can focus on men in next sections. You can also go point by point throughout the essay, and also on similarities first and then the differences. Choose the structure that makes your sense for your argument. And step 5, write an outline. Traditionally, an essay consists of an introductory paragraph, 3 body paragraph, and a conclusions. Consider including 4 body paragraph to give balance to your 2 subjects. In step 6, fill in supporting evidence. As you begin to write your essay, back up your assertions with evidence from research, reading, or from personal experience. If you compare about cats and dogs, you can use personal anecdotes about friends and their pets to bolster your arguments. And in the next step, about craft your essay with strong transitional words. Transitional words give a nice flow from one statement for the next. If you compare, you can use words like both, likewise, and similarly. And if you contrast, you can use words like in the other hand, nonetheless, and whereas. And in the last step, proofread and revise carefully. Once you have finished, read your essay several times to check your spelling, grammar, and punctuations. If possible, you can ask your friends to cast a fresh pair of eyes on it and to find mistakes you might have missed. If you follow the steps, you will be well on your way to writing about compare and contrast essay. Thank you.
Okay, that is our presentation about comparing and contrasting. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.